Everdell, this is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Today I'll be going through Everdell and how it plays with 2 players. Everdell is a 2 to 4 person game where you'll be trying to amass the most points at the end of the game to win. Now there's 3 basic actions in Everdell as you'll go through. You'll be able to place your workers, a worker placement element, and you get whatever's listed, whatever resource or action, if you have some of your city cards that have actions on them. You'll be able to buy these cards with some of the resources. You have the berries, the stones, the saplings, and the pieces of wood. You'll be able to use those to buy either critters or construction items to build in your city. Or once you're out of actions to do, you only start off with 2, you'll be able to get more. And you can do this 3 times. You're essentially going through a year. You start in late winter, go to spring, summer, then autumn. And at the end of autumn, the game is over. Now you'll be getting more meeples, more of your people as the end of these seasons happens for you. And what's interesting about this game is that can happen at different times for different people. So if somebody's buying a lot of items from their hand or out here, they can actually go through some of these seasons at different times. So you'll have your hand of cards and the meadow out here where you can purchase your cards from, and it's a very big engine builder game. And like I said, after the autumn season, and then after both players are done or everyone else is done, you can score your points and see who has the most and win. Now what I do like about this game is the production quality. I think the cards are very nice. All the stuff you get this massive tree that you build from the box. It's pretty neat. So when people see this on the table, they're like, wow, that's an interesting piece, because usually most of the games we play are pretty flat. This actually gives you a little bit of 3D element, which really adds a lot to the viewing pleasure of Everdell. These berries are really fun. They bounce all over the place. They're actually made of rubber. The stones, everything's high quality material you're getting with the game. The rules are pretty simple. I think in the rules explanation I may have forgot that you do get a hand, and there's some ways to draw cards. So you can either play out of your hand or from the meadow itself, and the meadow gets replenished as cards come and go. It does take up quite a bit of table size. This is not a small game. And it's definitely on a 3x3 card table, you're going to be hard pressed for room. You can have 15 city cards in each player's city, and that can add a lot of room. This board is pretty big, and it's a pretty, like I said, it's a pretty large table size. Now one thing that I didn't quite like about the game, and that was a little bit tough for me, is there's stuff all over the place. And one of the things are some of these scoring, where you have to have a couple things in your city before you can put one of your workers there, is actually placed on this second level of the tree. And as you're doing all this, you kind of forget that they're up here, and it's kind of tough to see. I don't know if you'll be wanting to play this with more than 2 players, to be honest. I mean, this is a 2-player review, but I'm going to say 2 players is about all that can see the center board. You really want to be facing it. If you are the 2-player review, I do suggest sitting side by side. Other games, you want to sit facing each other, but this one is a great side by side game, because both people need to be able to look at the cards and look at the board in general. No upside down on this one, and War of the Ring or some of those others where you need to be sitting on opposite sides. This one, I say sit on the same side of the table. The gameplay is pretty simple. There was just those three actions that you can take on your turn. It's very back and forth. Be very quick with 2 players. I think my wife and I, we knocked out the game in about 45 minutes. Nice and easy to remember. Pretty easy to get back to the table too. I know that's one of the things that I stress is after a long while of having this on the shelf, can you get it back to the table? And that's a definite yes, a definite rules refresh. The gameplay, there's not too much to it. Now, as far as luck versus strategy, is my only second negative that I'm going to have about this game is that there's a lot of cards. As you can tell, there's a lot of cards, and you may not see all of them every game. And some of these cards will play on each other. If you have a farm, you may be able to put out, the husband, or if you have the school, you'll be able to put out the teacher for free without paying some of these resources, which is great, but there's a lot of cards in this game. This was our discard pile from last game, and it's about the same size as the cards that we didn't use. So all these cards you see out here, plus this, you may not be able to rely on what's going to come out of the tree and into the meadow. And so from game to game, which does bring into my point on, you don't get to see these cards every time, but it is also kind of nice because the replayability does give you more to replay. You're not going to see the same 8 cards be powerful every time. You're going to have to deal with what you have in your hand and those cards that you can play from the meadow themselves. So it's interactive, it's quick back and forth with 2 players. We can be on different stages, different seasons, still have a great time. It's easy, it's a resource management. You have these different resources. You're trying to think of next season. And when the next season does come, the other player will take all their meeples, all their animals back into their own, and they'll open up all the spots that were taken before. So with 2 players, it's quick, it's easy, and I think this is a game that I would only play with 2 players. Like I said, with 3, it can get pretty bogged down. Some turns are really quick, and some turns you may have to think about more planning. This game escalates very quickly. At first you're thinking, I have two things to put out, and I can only choose one of these in the whole first season. Well, as the seasons go on, you get more workers. That opens up more options. Your city, your cards slowly grow, and you can come out with some nice combos. When you play this, you get a resource. And so it's a nice synergistic game. And that's what I do like about it is you can really engine build, but there is some randomness on what the cards you get, but you'll still have plenty of options. And that's what makes this game so interesting and so engaging. So with the other person, you can see what they're kind of doing. There's not a whole lot of gotchas in this one. It's not very super head-to-head unless they can see that, say you have the post office and the postal pigeon is out here in the community pot. They may take it when they get to draw a card for some reason. And it can kind of, it's a little bit of interaction like that, but there's no head-to-head clashing, which is nice about this game too. You're kind of just building your own city, trying to get as many points as you can, collect the resources, and really pull off some of those combos. So the gameplay in this game is really engaging, and I really do enjoy that aspect of this game. The playtime is about 45 to 60 minutes. Once you get the hang of things, it really starts to move. And, time goes by quickly when you're playing this game, which is something of it's a good game when you know that time is really going by quickly. There's many of these spaces are going to be standard, but there'll be variability on what kind of cards come out on the side, where you'll be able to put some of your workers and so forth. But overall, I really enjoy this game. I had just a couple of those nitpicks. It's tough to see from different angles some of these cards on the tree itself and actually remember them. And, you know, depending on what kind of cards you get, you don't know what kind of game it's going to be. But overall, this game is fun. It's a nice engine building game. It's a worker placement, resource management, kind of has all those really built in. And I really do like this game. As a two-player game, I really do give this my approval. Thank you guys, and talk to you next time.